Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu shehakam b'arei. Hayim b'li bracha. Okay, as we prepare for Gimel Tammuz, third day of the month of Tammuz, that very special day. Continue with the Maimer Tetzava. So we want to know the connection between the Moses of the generation who feeds faith and the people of the generation in a time of exile, that they're crushed and the luminary comes out from them. Their self-sacrifice for Torah mitzvahs is even greater than the illumination of God at Mount Sinai. Right? That broken in a time of exile, a time of decree, of the story of Purim, of the decree of Achashverosh, Haman against the Jewish people, that self-sacrifice that they stood, that brought out that self-sacrifice, come from the core of the soul, the ma'or. So that's what it means, kosis lamor, crushed in such a time that it illuminates the core, the luminary itself. That's when the core essence of the soul is revealed. That gives you then the capability to stand in self-sacrifice. Right. Um, Now, it sounds like from the discourse to previous Rebbe that it's the the faithful shepherd of the generation, the Moses of the generation that feeds faith, that internalizes faith for us, is the one that gives us the capability to reach the core, even though the core essence of the soul, it seems like the situation is the one that's doing it. So we need to clarify that. Is it the situation, Haman's decree against the Jewish people, that creates, the the that we reach to a deeper place in ourselves, that we're able to sacrifice sacrifice for Torah and mitzvahs, as the Jewish people did then? Or is it um, the faithful shepherd that is feeding us faith, that we internalize it? Or is it both? Okay. So to understand that is, we need to understand what does it mean that Moses of the generation is feeding us faith? Don't we have faith on our own? So the Jew believes in godliness with simplistic faith. We don't need any proof for it. Some people will have to look into the physical world to bring proofs. We don't need to. Don't need any proofs for it. Why? Because our soul sees it. Our soul above, right? Our soul above sees godliness. And seeing is greater than intelligence, right? Seeing is believing, as opposed to your intelligence that you come, you know, to yeah. Now, it's your soul above that sees godliness. That affects the soul in the body. That we have emunah, we have faith in godliness. So it's not that you know, I'm literally seeing godliness. No, I'm affected by the fact that my soul, the way it's rooted above, it sees godliness, right? Then there's another way that we uh, experience godliness, that the root source of our emunah, of our faith, is in the essence of the soul. That's beyond even seeing. Because the essence of the soul is bound up with godliness, essentially. Not because it sees godliness, therefore it is a believer. Because the soul is a part of godliness in its root source. So it's not pending on anything, not even seeing that which is beyond intelligence. Now, what is okay? First of all, they're both seemingly very lofty levels of faith, right? Not faith that comes to you because you come to an intellectual, logical, rational understanding, just like the building I'm sitting in, you know, didn't come on its own. There's an architect that made it. My body is not something that was just happened to uh, come into existence through a series of um, flukes, right? So you can come to that, right? So we say no, not everybody can come to. And here's deeper, that the soul above sees godliness, right? And even deeper than that is that the soul is bound up with godliness inherently, essentially. Right. Now, what will be the difference between those two perspectives, the latter two? Is that which comes from the perception of godliness that the soul perceives is something makif. Makif means it's transcendent of us, right? Intelligence is a part of us. This kind of belief, seeing, is something beyond you, right? Transcendent of you. What does that mean? Since the soul above is not the soul the way it's within the body, right? So it's beyond being enclosed. It encompasses me, that element of the soul. Right? There's different elements of the soul that's important to appreciate. Okay. Therefore, its effect of the way the soul is within the body is only affecting it from beyond, not from within, but from beyond. Now, in order that the faith that we have should be actually enclosed within the soul in the body, right? That it should be internalized. Because seeing godliness is not internalized. It's just like when you see something, right? You didn't, in the seeing of it, you didn't internalize what you saw because it's outside of you. Now, afterwards, you can internalize it by like taking it apart in your head to try to understand it. That's internalizing what you saw. You saw someone do something, and now you're, why they do that? But you didn't see why they did it. You just saw that they did it. The why, how they did it, and so on. Not necessarily what you saw, but you are internalizing it thereafter. But the seeing is not internalized. That's the point. In order that it should be internalized means that it becomes part of your reality, beyond your reality. So the first idea that the soul above, soul above means the soul that I don't experience in me. That's that element of the soul that's that's not that I don't experience. Yeah, but it's my soul. That's the transcendent element of my soul that has a transcendent perception of godliness that then affects me in a transcendent manner, but doesn't become me. But then, in order that that emunah, that perception of godliness should become a part and parcel of me, in other words, being internalized, it's through the revelation of the essential connection of the soul, because the essential connection of the soul, well, essential means it's everywhere, right? It's not beyond. It's not the element of being beyond, because beyond means it's not from within. That means it's not essential, right? Essence is everywhere, right? The essence of my soul is everywhere, right? In my body, to my body, it's beyond my body, right? So when you reveal the essential connection that the soul has, because the essential soul, right, is enclosed in the body, therefore the faith that will come, that will be revealed as will be when it's revealed, that will be there in an internalized manner. So accordingly, now we can connect the ideas in the discourse, that the idea of that we are crushed, that brings out, right, that a crushing circumstance brings out the core of me, or at least it can, and that's what it's meant to do, right? The saying that what doesn't kill you, what makes you stronger, right? This is more than just, right? It's more than just making you stronger. It's bringing out the core of you, right? The luminary from within. Now, this comes in relationship to the faithful shepherd, because Moshe Rabbeinu, faithful shepherd, he himself, and in every generation, right, um, feeds faith that it should be internalized. In other words, on our own, we'd have a great difficulty to internalize faith, that it becomes a part of me, right? And so he feeds the faith. How does he feed faith? Through his teachings, through he's just his being, just through his lofty soul. But, through his teachings, that he feeds us faith, and through that we reveal our essential soul, which is beyond seeing godliness. In other words, the essential soul, which is ma'or, as the verse calls it, right? The luminary. It brings out not merely the light, right? Light allows you to see. The luminary allows you to be. So he's helping us to internalize it. And therefore that revelation, how will it express itself? That we will be based on the core of our soul that's being revealed. It will reveal in us the power that we have of sacrifice, which will be mainly in a time of exile. So what's important is that the faithful shepherd, the leader, is helping us to internalize who and what we are and how we're bound up and connected with godliness in a way that it becomes part and parcel of our being that we experience and live with, as opposed to that it's something beyond us, which is very powerful. Okay, we're chapter 6. That's where we're hoping. All right, to be continued. We'll see you soon, folks. God bless. Thank you.